Speaking of Ken Buck, we talked about yesterday Republican Congressman Ken Buck, who is in the House Freedom Caucus, calling out his own party for the impeachment nonsense, the impeachment charade, trying to open an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden for things that aren't justified, for allegations they haven't been able to substantiate. And he is calling out, again, his own party for that. Now, I have for you Ken Buck calling out by name fellow Republican congressperson Marjorie Taylor Greene and mocking her in some pretty interesting terms, you'll see. So again, Marjorie Greene was kicked out of the House Freedom Caucus. Ken Buck is still in the House Freedom Caucus, known to be the most hardcore right-wing caucus. And he's just been going off script for some reason as of recently and calling out his own party, and in this case, MTG. Take a look.
Idea.
Let's stretch that comment out just a little bit further. And again, I didn't say, hey, I was going to ask you about this. I'm sure Joe right now is like, don't do it. But Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and said, we played the sound yesterday, that she's like, I'm not voting for any budget bill, no continuing resolution, nothing that doesn't involve the defunding of Jack Smith's special counsel office and everything that he's doing. Do you feel similarly about that issue as you do to defunding the FBI and the ATF and the DEA, et cetera?
So George, when I was teaching law school, I learned and taught certain constitutional principles. When Marjorie Taylor Greene was teaching CrossFit, she learned a whole different set of values, evidently, because my idea of what this country should be like is based on the Constitution. And she sees the world differently. She's criticized me for, voting to certify the election in 2020. The Constitution says Congress shall count the votes. It doesn't say Congress may overturn an election result. It doesn't say Congress can do whatever the heck it wants with this election. Shall count the votes. That's what the Constitution says. In her CrossFit class, maybe they didn't cover that. And it also, the Constitution also says that, the impeachment of a president shall be based on treason, high crimes, misdemeanors. It doesn't say it's a political exercise,
right?
And we hope the Senate does the right thing. And so I get tired of people. One of the beauties of Congress is you bring 435 people together from different backgrounds, and you try to reach a consensus on issues. When you've got people who care more about their social media accounts than they do about the Constitution, we have a real problem in Congress.
Caring more about their social media accounts than the Constitution. That about sums up Marjorie Taylor Greene and many others, unfortunately. And this is remarkable for a couple reasons. The first being just to see someone as conservative as Ken Buck accurately assess Marjorie Taylor Greene and call her out like he did and mock her like he did. But then also remarkable because it's remarkable. It's weird that it is unexpected and stunning to see something like this, because in a normal, reasonable world, you want to have someone like Marjorie Greene getting elected to office. But even if you did, everyone would condemn her actions. Everyone would say, we will not stand for your violation of the Constitution and our democracy. But it's not common. It's so rare within this modern Republican Party, unfortunately. And so it is an exception. And that is really sad. And it should be the case that all these basic boxes are checked for our elected leaders so that a story like this wouldn't even exist, where every single congressperson should, as he pointed out, should not threaten to go after institutions that dare to hold their political allies accountable, such as the current call to defund Jack Smith and the DOJ and all of it for going after Donald Trump, our dear leader. A basic box should be respect the rule of law enough not to do that, not to prioritize partisan politics over the rule of law. Law and order, as they said they stood for. Or obviously, every single congressperson should be able to check the box of, I put the Constitution and democracy over one particular political leader that I like. And then he also brought up impeachment. It should be obvious that every single person within Congress isn't going to try to use impeachment as just a political weapon and be uninterested in following the facts and instead just motivated to attack their political enemies with it. And that should be a given, but it's not. And so because it's not, because those basic boxes aren't checked by so many within Congress, you have a situation where someone like Ken Buck, with all of his gargantuous flaws, is able to and willing to call out Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is, in this moment, unfortunately, remarkable. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.